So we're here in the WAMDA booth with JC Butler, the founder of Dubizzle, one of the biggest classified sites in the region, basically. JC, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
What are you enjoying at ArabNet?
Well, I just got here, so pretty much the coffee so far. But no, it's great to, can touch base once a year and network with all the people throughout the region in the web space, and it's just a really fun buzz, and you see faces that you haven't seen for a while and catch up, and it's a lot of fun. So
yeah, it's like
I like it.
Yearly pilgrimage. Let's talk about Dubizzle's wild growth. You guys started in 2005, you went regional in October 2010. How have you managed that process of growing from a startup to a medium-sized company?
It's a very tough process, and we were talking earlier that it's something that isn't talked about a lot here in the region. I think the focus is very much startup, but going from startup to medium-sized company while still staying agile, still staying fresh, and still being able to constantly reinvent yourself is a big challenge, and is one that we've had to face, and we've had to have kind of numerous soul searches throughout the journey, I guess. Talking about how you do that, I'm actually a really big believer in the whole lean startup philosophy, which if you haven't read it and you're watching WAMDA, you're probably an entrepreneur, so you should read it. And it's basically a philosophy of staying agile, and it works for obviously a startup, but also large companies. One of the greatest case studies is the case study of Intuit, which is thousands of employees and how they kind of reinvented themselves to behave like a startup, and had huge amounts of success by doing that. So, that's kind of what we're doing, is getting back to those roots of, lots of trial and error, lots of just quick feedback and learning from your mistakes, but being willing to make lots and lots of mistakes and iterate quickly. And I think that one of the most important things when you become a larger company is that's quite difficult, is to really empower the people that you have, and the way to do that, how to do that is tricky, and every company's got to figure out the best way to do that for themselves. But once you can do that, once you can kind of release the decision-making power and the ability to innovate and make mistakes and learn from those mistakes from just the co-founders, which is the way it is in a small startup team. But once you're able to kind of make everybody in the organization an entrepreneur, things start happening so much more rapidly, and you start behaving like a startup, even though you're 70, 100, 150 people.
So to get into the details of that, what did you focus on? Is it encouraging a certain mindset? Is it having a certain team size? Is it encouraging a certain kind of bottom-up feedback? Is it just institutionalizing the way information gets conveyed within the company? How did you...
I don't know if it's the same for every company, but for us, I think that the important thing is a mindset of kind of like the scientific process of like create a hypothesis, create a test environment, test, and then learn from that, and really recognizing your own assumptions. And once you do that, then you become much more relaxed about anybody making an important decision, because if you can measure it, you can discuss, okay, what are our assumptions, what are the assumptions we're testing, what are the risks here, test it, and you start to realize that good ideas can come from anywhere, and you feel like you have a strong grip on knowing if you're going down the wrong avenue and if you need to switch course. So for us, I think it's about really good measurement, really good statistics, and then I guess just having the mindset of everybody really understanding that kind of like scientific process of what are my assumptions and how am I going to test this and make sure that the test is valid, and I know what variables I'm testing, et cetera, et cetera. Go ahead.
Have you, one of the biggest challenges I hear startups talk about is just finding talent. Have you, as you've scaled, have you had difficulties finding talent? Have you had to train people? Have you had to do a lot of internal training to cultivate this mindset?
Finding talent is it's difficult. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like, it's time consuming. It's a lengthy process, and you need to, if you really want to find the right people, you need to interview lots and lots of people, and you shouldn't hire somebody that you're like, oh, yeah, I think they could do a good job. You know, only hire the person that's like the perfect fit, where you come out of that interview room and you're like, oh my God, I love this person. We need to have them on our team. And that'll happen. You just need to, it takes time, and you need to be aware of how much time that takes, and you really need to focus on it and put, you know, recruitment as a priority. But yeah, I mean, I think that we have fantastic talent. I don't think that, you know, a lot of people complain that talent's hard to find in the region. I don't think we'd have any better talent if we were in Silicon Valley than we do here in the Middle East. It's a challenge, but it's by no means impossible.
Surmountable. Good. And just finally, how do you stay agile with your product? Are there any big changes that you've made to do Bizzle as you get bigger and kind of, you know, smaller sites come along, like in the job recruitment market, for instance, you know, Laymoon, Bradbury, and other just classified ad sites throughout the region that you're competing with locally? How do you stay fresh?
You know, I think the way to stay fresh again is to, you know, what we've done recently that is really, really exciting is, as you grow, you tend to kind of, your departments tend to become silos, and, you know, you go from a team of 3 people where everyone's in one room and everyone knows what's going on, to a team of, you know, we have 75 people in the head office, and all of a sudden you've got the marketing department and the tech department and the sales department, and, you know, they're doing one thing and they're doing something else, and how do they communicate? And so it can become this like cumbersome beast. And what we've done is made these cross-functional teams where we figure out what are the things that really matter, and then there's people from the different departments on each team, and so the metrics that they care about isn't something that's their whole department. It's actually them. They're on a team with people from other departments, and these people are the stakeholders, you know, that represent their department, and they can make decisions, you know. And really, what keeps us agile is lots and lots of little changes, innovation coming from every brain in the company, and just testing. So little changes, testing, iteration, little changes, testing, iteration.
Great.
My phone's ringing, I'm sorry.
Well, no. Thanks for chatting with us at WAMDA. Really appreciate it.
It's been great. Thanks a lot.